As soon as you know that you have an interest-based nervous system, you stop relying on motivation.
Yeah.
When you're about 80% of the way done a task and you're like, I can see the finish line, it's no longer interesting because I'm like most of the way there. Interest fades.
Momentum dies.
Today's topic is, what's the hook? Tell me the hook. Why are people here?
How do I keep that momentum going? How do I keep the fire alive? How do I keep the motivation to actually do the things that I need to do in life to live it? Always feeling like I'm almost there, but maybe I don't always get to grab the carrot. Have you ever just tried to do things and then you just can't anymore?
My whole life. Welcome to Hypercast.
Welcome to Hypercast. I'm Melissa Llewellyn-Snyder, an ADHD coach and educator.
My name is Brianna Morton. I am a neuroaffirming therapist and ADHD coach.
We've had a hard time recording recently, just figuring scheduling out. And well, we both have ADHD and life.
What? ADHD?
I know.
Scheduling challenges?
What?
Couldn't be us.
How have you been, Brianna?
Tired, busy, recovering. How have you been?
Tired, busy, recovering. I actually dropped my glasses the other day and tripped over them. And what I love is that sometimes I feel brilliant and sometimes I just feel like this ADHD fumbling stooge.
It's the best of both worlds.
I wish the same person, the same version of me would show up every single day.
That's never going to happen. That's actually diagnosed. That's a part of it. You have ADHD and it's just variability to the extremes. So you're never going to get the same version of you twice.
I'm just going to go with it. Exciting thing. You and I are both going to be at the ADHD conference in November.
Yes. If you're there, say hi.
I'm taking my camera, so I'm hoping that maybe we'll get something out while we're there and actually together.
That'd be so cool. We tie our identity to productivity, and ADHD impacts productivity because our motivation is different. We use momentum, not motivation. We get stuck 80% of a way through a task, and then we feel like a failure as a result.
I remember being a kid and being at the start of every school year, I'm like, this is my year. I'm going to be the coolest, smartest, bravest, most amazing person at school. And then by the end of the week, my third grade self was already tired and just feeling hopeless.
You had these plans. Yeah. I'm going to be so organized. I'm going to be on top of things. This year is going to be different. Your brain is your brain. And without strategies, it does the same thing it always does.
Yeah, that's a cycle. You can hope and be like, I'm going to change it this time. And then you get all this energy behind it. And it feels like you're going up like a roller coaster. And then as soon as that tipping point happens, you have that realization, your gut drops and you're like, oh my God, it's the same thing all over again.
The same struggles that I had last year are happening again because I didn't do anything to change them, because I didn't have any knowledge that I had ADHD or any knowledge about what I could do to change it.
Here's the funny thing though. I got to a point, I knew I had ADHD. I was medicated, but I was convinced that, hey, I got a diagnosis, I got this pill, and that's going to cure my ass, right? That's going to cure me. And that did not mean I created strategies for myself. The medication, it puts you on a level playing field. It doesn't give you freaking strategies to make life easier. So I still struggled.
There is a thought if I just do X, my life will be better. If I just do Y, my problems will be solved. And it's never that simple.
Society is set up so that we are not allowed to lead with our strengths. Or
Correct.
Harder for us to lead with our strengths.
Yeah. So all of the things that make us unique and special and interesting and whatever are devalued by society.
I try to think of things in a positive way.
There are ways to reframe so that it becomes focused on your strengths and your skills and what in your life is positive.
I think we minimize our strengths a lot.
Which is one of the things that I am working very hard for myself. I write down everything that I feel I have done well or I'm proud of myself, but it's not just the achievement. It's the effort that it took to get there. And focusing on how much I've learned or how hard I worked is so much more healthy than focusing on the final product, the achievement, which maybe can lead to some of those momentum issues.
And not just that, but I think one thing we often discount is the fact that sometimes we feel like we get stalled at 80% of a thing we may want to get done. But what if we've already got what we needed from what we were doing? Do we need to finish it?
I mean, some of the time, yes.
Absolutely,
some of the time there's
yes.
A due date or you're getting paid for it. My best friend in university, we worked so well together because I would get about 80% of the task done building furniture, cooking whatever it was, and then they would come in and finish the last 20%. And it was so helpful for me to have a person who not only saw me, not only helped me, but also there was no judgment about it. There was no, why didn't you finish this? You're such a failure. There was no judgment. There was no judgment at all. They were just wonderful.
My husband, he has been blessed that for like the last 15 years, almost every team he's been on, he has been either at the same level as or directly under someone who is great at ideation, really smart person who has ADHD and who gets those things 80% there. He jokes that he's like
the finisher.
Yeah, he's a finisher. He's great
Finish
at he's great at being a number two to make sure that the project comes to completion, that everything is rounded out. That is his strength. And I'm like, it's like you get practice at home, you get practice at work, you become an expert.
But this is what we're talking about with like every episode. We're like, community, find your people. Like that is who we need, because then it reframes failure as success, failure as teamwork, failure as strength. Because other people don't have that 80%. They can't do the ideation. They can't use their hyperfocus and their energy to create. And then as soon as they see the end line, the dopamine fades, and then someone else steps up and
make sure it gets to the finish line.
Right.
So if you have that great momentum to get started, but you get stalled, having someone that can be like your rah-rah person along the way that helps you get over those hurdles.
Yes.
Those are wonderful people that you want to be on a team with.
That's why people work on teams. That's why teams exist. You can't have someone be the striker and the keeper at the same time. The field is too big. You can't pass to yourself. Everyone is needed. Everyone is valuable. When we don't limit ourselves by only seeing value in what other people can do, that's actually one of the human brain's weaknesses. We view things that are difficult for us as more positive than the things that we can do easily. So if you struggle with task A and task B is really easy for you, you're going to see people who can complete task A with ease as super skilled, really impressive people, because it's so hard for you. When they can do it, you're like, that person's amazing and I can only do B. I'm such a failure. They're the reverse. They're like, I can't do B. That person is amazing. A is so easy for me.
I've got a question for you. So how many clients, or even for yourself, they can't see their own strengths? They may be amazing at things, but they think that's so every day because they do it so easily that they think it's just something everyone can do. When really, it's something only a small percentage of people can do, but you're freaking amazing at it.
Yeah. So many people, myself included, like friends in my life, clients, chronically underestimate our strengths.
Do you feel things you're interested in are nearly as hard to get started or to finish than things you don't find interesting?
Do you have ADHD? This is one of the symptoms or traits. I don't like the word symptoms. If you are interested in something, you're going to be able to like do it so much better. You're going to be able to focus. As soon as that interest fades, all the executive function difficulties come back and it becomes harder. And so that's why when you're about 80% of the way done a task and you're like, I can see the finish line, it's no longer interesting because I'm like most of the way there.
Yep.
Interest fades.
Momentum dies. I'm wondering how we can utilize our interest when it comes to that motivation piece. Because
yes, Melissa, yes. What a great question. That's the answer. Your question is the answer.
We do need to be trying to find what interests us most.
Yeah.
Because when that thing that would spark your interest, how do you like take that nugget and like plug it into the other things in your life?
That's the answer. Taking that nugget and plugging it into, like, I love it when you ask a question. That's the answer, because you're like, well, how do I do this? You do that. As soon as you know that you have an interest-based nervous system, you stop relying on motivation.
Many, many years ago, but I saw brain scans of like of a kid that they gave like something interesting to them, and you could see the activity in their like their prefrontal cortex.
There is physiological evidence that this is the way that our system works.
And then they handed that kid a math book, and then the frontal lobe just like died, just went dark.
And so, if you're struggling with math and your special interest is video games, start implementing that into the word problems. That's how you add those little interest nuggets. If you're assigned a boring task at school, if you're assigned a boring task at work, You find the piece that's interesting. Sometimes you have to create it. Sometimes it's listening to your favorite songs while you're doing the task. Or it can be finding interest in the task. So if it's a big task, say you're assigned the paper at school and you get to pick your topic. Pick your topic that's interesting to you.
Don't go with the topic your brain thinks your teacher wants to hear
Or you think would be the easiest.
or you should be doing. Pick the thing that actually sparks interest in your being.
Exactly. The 4 key pillars of ADHD completion, if your goal is completion, are novelty, passion, urgency, and challenge. So I don't know about you, but the closer I get to a deadline, the better my brain is at actually doing the thing.
I love a good challenge. Like, it is one of my biggest motivators in life.
Yes. I'm boiling a kettle for tea. I'm going to clean as much of my kitchen as I can before the kettle goes
Yep.
off.
This is why something
Challenge.
like the Pomodoro method works.
Yeah. That can also be like competition, trying to beat someone else in something. Like, I want to get this done before you, or I want to get this done better than you. That can create that. But the 2 pieces that really help there are passion. So interest.
Yep.
And our brains will lose passion over time. That's a fact. That's why we don't have the autism trait of long-term special interest that last lifetimes. We switch up between things. And so reintroducing passion, reintroducing interest into things. And then that can look like novelty, right? It can be a new sticker, it can be a new thing. But that is how you overcome the momentum crash.
And if you're coming from that odd HD's perspective, this is where you may want to actually bring your special interest in. How can you actually utilize those special interests and plug them into the things that you may not be as interested in?
Yeah. That's how I got through both of my master's degrees. My special interest is neurodivergence. And both of my master's theses were on neurodivergence. And that's how I was able to write over 100 pages for each.
You were literally info dumping.
I was literally info dumping. It is my manifesto, and I had to tone it down a little bit. 100-page paper on any other topic would have been impossible for me. But because I introduced my passion and my interest, I was able to do it.
One of the things that a lot of people struggle with is sometimes just even getting started.
Yes.
With anything. Sometimes it can be like, how do I get anything done today?
If there's a whole day of boring tasks, like having to clean your house or respond to a bunch of boring emails, you can't even get started.
The crazy thing is, though, it's very much an object in motion stays in motion.
Do not start with the hardest or the biggest or the longest task first.
Start with the easiest or most interesting.
Yeah. Start with something that you know will take you 5 minutes. And if you have a big task, break it down.
Yep.
So, like cleaning kitchen, like I'm going to wash 1 mug. Just 1 mug.
Sometimes we'll try something and then it only works for so long.
And then you feel like cheated.
Yeah. Sometimes we actually need something new. We need something that feeds that part of us.
We need to have a break from demands. We need to be in a place where we have creativity and freedom.
Yeah.
If we don't give ourselves that time, everything becomes harder.
Sometimes you just need 15 minutes to do whatever the hell you want to do.
Yeah. Dancing is a good thing to do.
Yep.
Listening to music, meditating, walking outside, something that's a break from your routine. Novelty, inserting novelty. Sometimes knowing what your hobby or interest or the thing that you can do in flow state is difficult. You get 80% of the way through a crochet or a knitting project or something creative, and then you never finish it and you never have a finished project. And you're like, I have nothing to show for it. And then you get all of that shame and guilt built in. You're like, I can't even do hobbies. I can't even do my own interests.
Or you give up on that passion, or you thought you were going to be really interested in it, and you end up with that closet of shame filled with hobbies.
You took guitar lessons for a hot minute. You were into cosplay and then photography, and then you were into sports, and you feel like you should be doing them. I should be doing those, or I should be finishing that, or I spent so much money on this.
I know this sounds all Marie Kondo, but I've started asking myself when something has been sitting around for a while, okay, why did I start this?
The why is important.
The why is important. What have I received from this? And have I received what I needed? I've had a bunch of projects in the last 6 months that I've had self-imposed deadlines for. And
urgency.
I've had a couple times where I've missed the deadline. And there's that part of us that may go, hey, okay, us, when I'm saying us, I'm talking about myself here especially. But that part of you that just goes, hey, that deadline has passed. That means I can't finish it. The deadline's gone. I was working on this one project and I was like, oh, I can just move the deadline. Something in my head told me that was not something I was allowed or was supposed to do. And
Yeah.
it was as simple as just like rewriting the deadline on a different day.
There's actually some research that says that if you tell someone about a project that you're doing, you actually get the dopamine just from telling someone about the thing, and that can actually steal dopamine from actually doing it, and so you don't actually do the thing. You might need the external accountability from, I'm planning on doing this, can you help me make sure I'm sticking to my deadlines, be my body double, whatever, but then as soon as you tell them about the project, you're now like lost the dopamine and momentum that you had.
I feel like you've said something important there. Sometimes that dopamine hit comes without a plan for accountability. So just saying, hey, I'm going to go join the circus one day. That's one day, but the question is when.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm going to join the circus next Tuesday.
Do you want a personal example, Melissa?
Sure.
You want a personal example?
Sure.
Hi, I have been planning my ADHD in Women workshop for months now, and I had all these big ideas. I got 80% of the way done, and then nothing. Have a deadline now. The deadline has passed, but I built in a backup deadline.
A soft deadline and a hard deadline.
Yeah, my actual launch deadline is October 6th. So if you're listening to this, it's probably out and you should sign up.
I'm in the same boat. My YouTube channel was supposed to launch about a week ago. It hasn't. So please stay tuned.
I was so excited. I told everyone about this project, but there was no deadline. And then as soon as there was a deadline external, like it wasn't my own, it had to be someone else's because I'd already passed the deadline that I'd created months. Now it's happening, right?
Good.
Like it's gonna get done. There are so many tips and tricks that we can use. And even the two of us with years of experience and training still need
Guess
the
what?
tips and
We
tricks.
still have ADHD.
What?
We still have ADHD.
It doesn't go away.
It's not curable.
We don't need a cure, Melissa, because we have systems.
But we do need to learn to work with our brains. And we still need to find ways to make our lives interesting. We still need to find those things that motivate us, that give us that momentum.
And that helps us with the identity crisis that comes with a lot of these things, right? Like if your whole life is built on accomplishment, on productivity, on completion, and your brain struggles with that, you're going to feel terrible. The first step of this is realizing that our brains are different. This is the neuroaffirming approach. Figuring out what works for your brain, figuring out your systems, figuring out the why, figuring out all the tips and tricks that actually work for you. Not just, have you tried journaling? Have you tried trying harder?
Here's a planner.
That's not going to work, right? Accountability, people in your life, body doubling, all these tips, everything. But the first step is just stop being so hard on yourself.
Yeah.
Find community, find people that support you.
We should not be islands. If we are only getting 80% of the way there and we need some help, there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely. Reach out for help or find tools that you need to help you get that extra 20%.
Like a coach or a therapist?
So to sum things up, your ADHD brain isn't broken. You just need to work with your brain. Remember the 4 pillars: novelty, passion, urgency, and challenge. Use these to build momentum. Start small, add interest nuggets, and when you hit that 80% wall, that's when you bring in your team, your finishers, your accountability partners, your community. And most importantly, stop being so damn hard on yourself. You're working twice as hard with less dopamine. And that's exactly why we're here, to help you figure out how to work with that brain of yours. If you're in need of extra support, Brianna, where can they find you and what's going on in your world?
You can find me at understandingadhd.ca. I will have that ADHD in Women workshop up and running real soon, and more to follow, more to come, different topics and different things. I offer coaching worldwide. I offer therapy Canada-wide, and I offer assessments in Alberta, Ontario, and Newfoundland. Where can they find you?
You can find me at likemindcoaching.com. I have a really great burnout freebie if you want to hop on there. It's like these 5 tips if you're in the middle of burnout and need to figure out how to let off some steam. It's a really great tool. Also, like I said, YouTube channel, it's on the way. Stay tuned. And thank you for your support, everyone. Until next time, thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Mwah.
Today's topic is, what's the hook? Tell me the hook.
Have you ever just tried to do things and then you just can't anymore?
My whole life. Welcome to Hypercast. Do you have ADHD? Is stuff hard for you? Let's talk about it.